Do I have enough time? Mental training doubt. This is one of the biggest hurdles that I see folks run into, and we're going to talk about it today. How do you do this when you go, oh my God, I literally have no time? I got you. Today, I'm going to share the 5-minute mental routine that I give my busiest writers. This is mental training for writers who hate long routines. All right. And this is the perfect time for it because we're rolling into Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I know holidays be crazy. So here is how you're going to still squeeze in your brain training. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Resilient Rainer, the premier podcast focused on mental performance for equestrians and improved horse show performance. Whether you're a rookie reiner or a seasoned competitor, this show is for riders who want to take their skills to the next level and achieve their full potential in the show ring. I'm Nicole Burnett, and I'm a master mindset coach who's obsessed with helping you achieve all those horse dreams you always thought were impossible. Join me each week to develop a show-ready mindset and gain the competitive edge you need to compete with confidence.
Welcome back, friends. I'm your host, Nicole Burnett, and I gotta say, it was so fun to get messages from you guys about the podcast last week, about competition and fairness and all of that good stuff. And it can be a thing to kind of wade into those topics. And I know that was a special listener request. And so it was really wonderful to hear positive feedback from you guys that you loved it, that it was really helpful. So I'm really glad that we got to do that. And it was fun. I got even some more requests for podcast topics. So I am just so excited for all the good stuff and things coming on the podcast. And following in that, so today's topic, oh my gosh, I have no time. How do I do this brain training? So I got a message from a writer and she said, Nicole, I love your stuff, but I barely have time to ride as it is. In fact, I am so busy, I just put my horse into full-time training. So do I really have to do this mental training? Do I have to have time to add mental training on top of everything else that I have going on? So if you have ever thought a version of that, like, hey, I love everything, Nicole talks about on the podcast. I'm interested. I want to do this, but I just feel like I'm stretched so thin. So know that you are in very good company. So I got to tell you, the doubt here, and so many people get this confused, right? They think that it means that they're questioning their identity of, are they committed enough? And if you're listening to the podcast, you're a horse girl, you're a cowboy. Oh my gosh. I mean, horse people, the question is not, am I committed enough? It is not, are you committed enough? Because no. That's the wrong question. Let me tell you the right question. The right question is, if I add one more thing, what breaks? And this is something that I do as a coach, is I can see beyond what people are asking to, like, what's that real question underneath? And I think this, honestly, I've been doing this for so long as a coach. And then also I did, for over a decade, I've done volunteer work with nursing mothers and supporting them. So that's something that I've noticed when I was working with nursing mothers, is they'd often ask you a question, but it's not their real question, right? There's something underneath it that's the real question. And so I learned that there, and then seeing that with the riders, it's the same thing, right? That you might ask a question, but there's really a real deeper question underneath that you have to dig out. That's what's really going on. So here, the doubt isn't, am I committed enough? It's, if I add one more thing, what breaks? And let me tell you, friend, let me send you a hug from afar through the podcast. When your whole life just feels like a sprint, and as I tell my children with great frequency, boring is underrated, okay? Boring is underrated partly because, consistency can be boring, and consistency is what gets you results, whatever you're doing. And also, boring means that things are working, right? You're not trying to rush to fix something. So I get it that not every season can be blissfully boring, but I get it when your whole life feels like a sprint. And this writer who messaged me, they're a busy non-pro, job, family, a nice horse. And by the time she gets to the barn, she's already lived 3 lives that day. So raise your hand if you can relate. Yes, I'm raising my hand. So on show weeks, the pressure cranks up even more. Work still needs her. Kids or grandkids still need her. The horse still needs to be legged up. And now there's stall rent, there's patterns to memorize, and a warm-up plan to figure out. She told me, honestly, some days I'm impressed that I made it to the arena with my boots on the right feet. And same girl, same. I get this on a very personal level. There have been seasons in my life where the idea of adding one more thing, even a good thing, felt like trying to stack a brick on top of a Jenga tower that's already swaying. And I know like the last half of this year, there have been a couple different personal projects for my husband and I, like 2 big projects that we've completed that have like really, really maxed us out. Good things, but whew. And between kids, activities, house, bills, my own horses, clients, shows, there's just all the things, right? In those moments, I don't have time. It doesn't feel like an excuse. It feels like protecting yourself from collapse. So if that's you, I am not here to argue with your calendar. I'm here to show you something that your calendar can't show you on its own. The big myth. The big myth is that mental training equals this really big, really extra routine. Most writers picture mental work like this. Could be journaling for 30 minutes, then a long meditation, then affirmations, visualization, then maybe a breath work session. Basically, an entire second training schedule. And I'll be honest with you, as a type A Virgo eldest daughter, I'm prone to throw my hands up in disgust that the day is ruined if I didn't do the perfect 4-hour grounding routine before 8 a.m. I'm sorry, it's totally embarrassing, but it's true. I am my own first client. So no wonder when this is a story your brain is making up about what mental work looks like, no wonder your brain vetoes it. Like, ew, no thank you. But here is what the pros understand that most busy writers don't. Pro-level mental training is built on small, consistent reps, not on massive, perfect sessions. That is so painful for me to acknowledge even to myself. And I think it's because I love the idea of just fixing everything, like checking it off on like, oh, I did that last Saturday, I'm done, rather than committing to 10 minutes a day consistently. So I feel that. And I've tried it both ways. The consistency wins, which is why that's what I teach, because it's what I see over and over works best for writers. Now, it's not about carving out an hour of quiet time in a life that rarely offers it. There will be lovely seasons of your life where you can have a long, extended practice and thoroughly enjoy it. But if this is not that season of life, or if that does not sound appealing, you do not have to do it. when you work with me and the way that I work as a coach and inside of any of my programs where I'm teaching, it's about rewriting the way that you think in the cracks that already exist. And this means time in your truck, right? When you're driving to the barn, time in the barn aisle, in the 5 minutes before you get in the saddle, in the 30 seconds after you step out of the arena. This is exactly what I work on with riders inside my program, the Mental Gym for Equestrians. I took all of my best rider tested tools and I turned them into simple in the cracks protocols so it is actually easy to stay on track. One of my clients, she told me, oh my gosh, for the first time, it feels like my brain is training with me, not against me. And we did that in these tiny reps woven into truck rides, into grooming time in the aisles, and in post-ride resets, not in 2-hour routines. Because I get it. I get what it's like to feel like you are stretched thinner than a crepe and to feel like when your brain is not being on your side, the last thing you feel up to is some long protracted routine, even if it would help. And I get that as a coach, like, because I've done all these things. I only teach my riders things that work and that I've tested and curated. And I get it that sometimes when you're in that mindset, you're like, yeah, I'll probably feel better if I, meditated for an hour, but I don't want to. So, okay, what else can you do to get you where we want you to be, to where you want to be, without having to do that? Because the truth is, we all have busy lives. And even having a horse in full-time training does not magically hand you extra hours. The riders who make the biggest jumps, they're not the ones with the emptiest schedules. You'd think it would be, but they're not. They're the ones who learn to train their brain in the moments they already have. And as a matter of fact, my average client has a horse in full-time training. They have a job, a family, and a love for the horse and a love for our sport. Your life doesn't have to shrink to make room for your mental game. Your mental game can move into your life as it is. And when it does, woo baby, every ride that you do get suddenly works a lot harder for you. Now we're cooking with gas, as they say. So I told you I was going to share a 5-minute mental training routine for busy riders. Here it is. Here is a simple framework that you can steal today. None of these take more than a few minutes. Individually, they are tiny, because I know that in the moment you have to get over your own damn inertia and get out of your own way. And it needs to be a minuscule, tiny step to get the ball rolling. Together, they compound like crazy. All right. The sum is greater than the parts. I'm going to show you 5 specific pockets in your current routine where you can start training your mental game like a pro. You don't have to do all 5. In fact, please, pretty please, do not do all 5. Here's why. I want you to start with one tiny habit in the spot that fits your life best. And let that become just what you do. Number 1, before you mount, this is a 60-second reset and you're going to give yourself a job. So right before you put your foot in the stirrup, take 3 slow breaths. Just in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just take 3 breaths. And then you're going to give your brain one clear job. So something like, today, my job is to ride this pattern with my hand staying at the horn. Or today, my job is to ride my corners and breathe. Or today, my job is to keep my eyes up and sit deep. You're telling your nervous system, we're safe, we have a plan, you're setting that intention. This takes 60 seconds. All right, number 2, in the truck, right? So if you are driving to the barn, use this one. You're going to ask one power question. So on the drive to the barn or drive to the show or event, ask yourself, what would the rider I'm becoming focus on today? Let your brain answer without overthinking it. Maybe she'd focus on her transitions instead of replaying last week's mistakes. Maybe she would focus on breathing in the warm-up instead of comparing herself with everybody else in the warm-up pen. Or maybe she would focus on riding this horse today, not the future version in her head. That one question quietly shifts you out of, I'm behind, the sky is falling, and it shifts you into, I'm becoming. And this is identity work, right? What would the rider I'm becoming focus on today? And this is the kind of stuff I love to get into. Inside Mental Gym for Equestrians, we do a lot of identity work, and it's very, very impactful. Now, time. However long your drive is, but even 30 seconds counts, okay? So even 30 seconds, do this. You are claiming and stepping into that identity of the rider that you're becoming. All right, number 3. After you ride, take 90 seconds. 90 seconds for 3 wins and 1 focus. So before you untack, just grab your phone or say this out loud. Maybe do it while you're untacking, but it's super quick. 3 wins. OMG, we nailed that first stop. I stayed with my horse when he spooked. I remembered to breathe in my circles. So 3 wins, and 1 focus for next time. Next time, I'm going to really set up my lead change. That's it. 3 wins plus 1 focus. You are training your brain to see progress, not just problems. This is massive. That pattern alone will change your confidence faster than almost anything. Time, 90 seconds. All right, number 4, cooling out. This is 2 minutes as your future self. So while you're cooling out or hand walking, run this tiny visualization. You're going to picture yourself at a show 3 to 6 months from now. See you and your horse walking calmly towards the arena. Feel your shoulders relaxed, your jaw unclenched, your breathing easy. Watch yourself ride your pattern clean, all right? Not perfect, just present, prepared, and in charge of your brain. You're not begging your brain to believe in a fantasy. You are giving it a preview of where you're headed. And the science here is so supportive of that. This takes 2 minutes. 2 minutes, guys. All right. And the 5th one, 5th pocket of time where you can fit mental training into your existing schedule is when you're doing chores. When you're doing chores, you're going to pick uno, identity statement. Pick a line that feels true enough to grow into and say it while you're doing barn chores. So you're scooping that manure. I'm the kind of rider who shows up for my horse even on busy days. You're filling the water trough. I'm the kind of rider who rides the pattern in my mind before I ride it in the pen. I'm the kind of rider who keeps my head under pressure. Just pick one and just repeat it while you're doing those chores. You are not trying to hype yourself up here, to be clear. You're reminding your brain who you are practicing being. And more identity work. So the time, this is woven into what you are already doing. So this is 0 extra minutes. Now, here is what changes. So let me review those for you because I know I went through them, but I'll review them. So this is the 5-minute mental training for busy riders. The first one is before you mount, 60-second reset and give yourself a job. 2, in the truck, 1 power question. 3, after you ride, 90-second, 3 wins and 1 focus. 4, cooling out, 2-minute future self ride. And 5, when you're doing chores, repeat 1 identity statement. Now, here's what changes when you start doing tiny reps like this. So before you pull into the show, you're already frazzled, you feel behind on practice, behind on mindset. 1 bad warm-up spirals into, why do I even do this? After, it's the same job, same family, same number of hours in the day, but you walk into the barn with a clear job, a calmer body, and a brain that has been training with you in the margins. When something goes sideways, you have a way to reset instead of crumble. It's not about magically winning every class. It's about finally riding closer to your actual ability instead of letting stress and self-doubt hijack the reins. I see this over and over and over again with the riders that I coach. Same horses, same lives, different results, because their brain is finally training with them, not against them. If you're thinking, okay, Nicole, maybe I could do that. That little opening in your brain, that maybe this is possible for me, that is the door. That is the door, friend. And if you want some help walking through it, that is exactly why I created 5 Days to Confident Competitor. It's a short, punchy experience designed for busy riders who don't have hours to journal and meditate, but do want a calmer body when you show up to the pen, a clearer plan for your brain on show day, and simple, done-for-you mental reps that you can plug into your real life. Each day, you get a focused audio training you can listen to in the truck, in the barn aisle, or while you're tacking up, plus a simple action to take that day. No 45-minute modules, no perfection required, just bite-sized, high-impact mental training you can actually do. It's a great way to get started. If your biggest doubt has been, I don't have time, this was built for you. You can grab 5 Days to Confident Competitor in the show notes. You don't need a different life to grow a different rider. You just need to start using the minutes you already have in a new way. I'm in your corner always, and so is your future calmer self. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on the podcast. I love to hang out with you guys, and I can't wait to talk to you again next week. Ride on, my friends.